Hello, welcome to my Williams career mode episode 1, obviously starting off at Australia. This career mode should be posted up to 3 times a week. Also in advance, for the next cutscene I would like to apologise for the amount of lag because my settings on my recording software weren't right, so just enjoy.
Yes, and I respect that. But my client has a championship to contest. So if you want our participation, I'm afraid the concessions are mandatory. Yes, that's fine. Get back to me when you can. Goodbye. No one ever just signs the contract. Anyway, thanks for coming by on such short notice. I just needed to cover a couple of quick things with you before you race. Firstly, as requested, there's a copy of your contract. It's a rolling deal. However, the team reserves right of termination if you fail to meet performance standards. You're second driver for now, but work hard, hit your targets, and I'll be able to sweeten the deal. I'm also looking to get you into some invitational events throughout the season. The experience and exposure from these will be great for your image. Plus, you'll get to drive some nice historic cars. Now then, go get ready for the next session, and good luck.
Welcome to our viewers from around the globe. You join us just as today's practice session for the Australian Grand Prix is about to start. A warm welcome once again to the man standing beside me in the commentary box for this session, Anthony Davidson. Hello, Ant. Excited to get underway?
Yeah, absolutely. I always look forward to seeing the cars get out there on track. They probably won't be on the limit immediately, of course. We know that one or two of the teams are looking to do some work on new aerodynamic packages, so that always takes some time to get into. But it'll be really interesting to see later on in the session what kind of performance gains are there to be found.
Welcome to Home Away from Home. We get more real-time data from the factory now than ever before, and it all comes through here. So I have to spend more time checking over the reports and less time hunting you down in the hospitality suite. To that end, Sorry, just a sec. Yeah, Chris, is this important? I'm in the middle of something. Okay. Right. Well, that makes no sense. Have Sarah reset the simulation and run it again. Okay. Sorry about that. As I was saying, we've set up a desk for you at the front here. You can get onto the network from your laptop, so make sure to check the R&D screen regularly. And let us know how you want to use the data that we've collected over the weekend and through the practice programs. Also, bear in mind that the news from the factory won't always be good. Sometimes tests fail, like you've seen just now. And when that happens, we have to divert additional resources to fix it. C'est la vie, I'm afraid.
So here you can see obviously this is the R&D, the research and development. So all I've really done is just went for the recommended settings because they're normally what I'd go for anyway. Obviously the chassis on the Williams isn't obviously the strongest on the grid. However, there'll be no point in upgrading the power unit as they have obviously the strongest power unit being the Mercedes. And the aerodynamics is mid-pack, so you might as well just upgrade that, and also durability because that's always handy, so you don't get no grid penalties for the races. So yeah.
Guess who made the gossip columns this morning? Everyone's talking about this new rival you have. Check his stats out.
Oh, so now our agent has brought us who our rival is, and that is Felipe Massa. Obviously, I think they normally start you off with your teammate, obviously, because you've got the same car, so it's a good way to gauge your sort of driving skill or whatnot. So, yeah, I thought I would skip out the practice side of things, because all the practice programs, they start to add up and it gets a bit boring, but I'll leave all the cutscenes in. So, yeah, so now we'll just skip straight through to qualifying.
Welcome to Melbourne, where qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix should be getting underway shortly. And as we count down to that green light, I have to say, Anthony Davidson, that this rain is not showing any signs whatsoever of abating. I imagine we'll be looking at some last-minute setup changes to better adapt these cars to the conditions. What do you think?
The trouble is, Crofty, they need to be thinking about the race tomorrow. You don't want to go jacking up the ride heights and piling on a few points of extra downforce that you're not going to want in the Grand Prix itself. The Parc Fermé regulations mean that you have to make that choice. The best thing the drivers can do is adapt with the tools they have available in the cockpit. Moving the brake bias forward will help stop the rear end slipping out under braking, and opening up the differential can really help tame the oversteer on corner exit. The drivers that can make best use of these techniques will have the best chance for success here today.
So here we are in qualifying. Well, qualifying I'd say didn't really go too well because there was variable conditions and the car just didn't feel that great, and the AI's 1 lap pace is just absolutely phenomenal in this game. Sorry about that. So as you can see, the lap doesn't, well, obviously the whole lap, but the lap I wouldn't have said is bad, but I weren't pushing it to the limit. It was kind of below average lap, I'd say, because I've been a bit cautious, I'd say, on this lap, to try and get the car back in one piece so I can set a banker lap. But as I was coming around these last few corners, I thought, yeah, not maybe too bad. And then that happened, got on the grass, lost the back end, were able to hold it quite nicely as well. And as we come up the straight, I was a bit surprised because I pushed the line in what was 7th place, which was a bit...
We're up into P7, push for P6.
Terrible lap, so I just thought, right, let's just go straight in for another lap. So the lap, this one was considerably better. We were up with what? It was 3 seconds, 2 seconds, even 5 seconds by the end of the lap in our last one. So I thought, so it was looking pretty good. My hopes were high, so I thought I might be able to get maybe even a top 5 qualifying. So as we come around these last few corners, I thought the car was good. Coming into the last corner, I thought, yeah, might be there. I lost a bit of traction there. Coming around, it's such a hard corner to get. And then coming down the straight, I was like, right, I'm just going to be over the line.
Okay, that's pretty disappointing, but we can turn it around
16.
tomorrow.
I thought, how quick do you have to be? But it's the AI are just so
As we
fast
wind
on this
down
game,
from
but
the
I probably
excitement of
could have
qualifying.
pushed it a lot faster. And in them the best in them variable conditions. So yeah,
It's out with the old and in with the
hoped
new
for.
here at Albert Park as we usher in what we hope will be a triumphant new era of Formula One racing. For our drivers, though, it's very much business as usual as they look to be first across that line and get their championship off to a winning start. We go racing today then in the state of Victoria, where the drivers have 16 corners and 3.3 miles to navigate at an average lap speed of around 120 miles an hour. The close proximity of the barriers makes accidents inevitable, and recent history shows us that a safety car is not at all out of the question. Today's race, of course, not simply the start of a new season, but the start of a new kind of Formula One. Anthony Davidson, great to have you with us once again. This is a big moment for the sport, big changes to the technical regulations, the potential perhaps to give us the biggest shake-up since 2014. Very different cars visually and, fingers crossed, much faster as well.
Good thing then that combined these teams put in just a shade over 13,000 kilometres on the clock during testing. The cornering speed of these new machines is absolutely unbelievable. How many lap records are still held by Michael Schumacher from 2004? Well, on the right day, on the right tyres, we might just be threatening them this year. Wider tyres, wider cars, more downforce. I have to say they look great, and the qualifying spectacle is undebatable. Now the big question remains, can they follow? Can they race? Or have these new rules gone too far?
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session. And men's lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on. Starting alongside in P2 is Sebastian Vettel. Looking down the rest of the grid we have Raikkonen, Verstappen, Daniel Ricciardo and Grosjean, Ocon, Hülkenberg, Magnussen and Jolyon Palmer. Sainz, Alonso, Pascal Wehrlein and Van Dorn, Bottas and Williams, Sergio Perez and Marcus Ericsson, Kvyat and Felipe Massa completes the grid.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down. Okay, go through all the gears if you can. We need to make sure the engagement is okay before the start. We're going to want to put some temperature into the tyres and brakes. We need to keep the engine cool though, so don't go too high with the revs.
So here we are, as you can see, on the just finished the formation lap. So the lights build up, 5 red lights, and off we go. Got a pretty average start, to be honest. Bottas, and then I think there's that Perez comes flying out of nowhere. A great start, but yeah, I could say it's a corner cut. But yeah, as you can see, got a little bit of front wing damage, but I'm not really sure about that, because I don't really think anything actually did come off, because I did not feel any different. But as you can see, overtaking 2 people into there. Is that one of them's Palmer? I know that. And then got to chase down Alonso. This shouldn't be too difficult with that. So you've got a beastly Honda power unit, which, well, I wouldn't say it's beastly. I'd say that as I looked up the inside there, I could have got him into the next corner, but looking up the inside there just cost me so much time. But we'll get him in the braking zone here. So you can see I looked up the inside, but I thought, nah, it was too far back. And then obviously took a massive chunk of curb. But look at the Honda power unit is awful, as the Mercedes just steams past. Well, not Mercedes, but Mercedes power unit steams past them, chasing down the chasing down Magnussen now in the Haas. As we chase him down, I found obviously that sort of gap on full pace would be hard to close, but I don't know what it was on the first lap. The braking of it, they were just horrendous. They couldn't brake very late, so that's where we're making up all our time. Trying to catch Magnussen, isn't too hard, I suppose. Obviously in the Haas, and in that train of cars, it's not really anything to do with the car. It's just a train of cars. What they're in, slowing each other down, as you can see. Coming here from a really far back, straight up the inside. Now that was a beautiful overtake. So that's one down. There's another 3 more in this train to go. Next up ahead we've got Grosjean. So obviously he started 6th, now he's dropped down to 8th. Obviously he finished 6th on their debut, not this year but the last year. So obviously Haas very strong at this track. So we're reeling them in slowly, but we are reeling them in. Slowly but surely, you could say. Anyway, chasing him down. Yes, this is where I find I make up the most time. Puts a lot of wear on the engine though, using really high revs through there, and up the inside of Grosjean, straight past him. I left him the space, which I suppose was the right thing to do. And then the next person on the agenda is Hulkenberg. Ahead of him is Ocon. I suppose it shouldn't be too difficult in that Renault.
Okay, entering lap 3 now. DRS has been enabled.
Straight, as you can see there, and getting into here. Up into Rich. And just straight up the inside. Yeah, ran a bit well, it's deep. Got a bit on the curve. Caught at the forward line to took us quite a while to catch him. He was very fast. And anyway, in the slipstream, he just left him space. I don't even know, he could have easily got away with just cutting me off. Got other him. Then he did actually come on the attack once more. Did catch up. Obviously the super softs, because I started on supers, it was an ultra, obviously across being really slow there. Just sacrificed my chances of being able to overtake into here. But as you can see, we get really close to the braking zone.
The ultra softs.
Grip. It's very hard. Here we go. DRS, we're able to put up into Rich with DRS. Past that, I done that a bit strategically. I thought I'll brake a little earlier, see when his braking zones are, and then end up braking later to stop him. Which is a bit of a weird strategy. Ocon's still keeping us there, still letting us know right on us. I was a bit worried when he all over the back of us. Bottas. I don't know how I was able to hold him off this long. Skip more to the end of the lap. I thought this is the best time to go. Bottas was slowing him down, slowing himself down. So I thought now's the right time to come and switch on to the ultra softs. Got a very nice lead on him. Coming to the pits, and obviously very popular. I think Bottas hits this lap. Well,
Complete, go now.
so we've got a very nice pit stop, 2.4 seconds. Obviously William was very known for the fast pit stops. Disengaged a little bit.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. Receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross over into the track.
Stay ahead of Bottas at stages, but Ocon's there. Grosjean's up ahead. I did want to focus on catching Grosjean, but obviously we've got a defend from Ocon, and if I'm not careful, Ocon would quite easily overtake me. But there, as Bottas is coming out of the pits, side by side with him, kind of squeezing me on the grass very aggressively. I go really, that's a bit bad of me. I went really deep, late on the brakes and turning in early, making a bit of contact with him. But I think everyone was alright. Then you can see I just didn't have the pace. I couldn't get it around with the Williams. Didn't feel right hurling around this track. As you can see now, Bottas eventually has that extra pace, that extra downforce, extra speed, and I tried to stick with him for a while and try and pull away from Ocon. I did look up the inside, and we did actually get side by side with him, but to be honest, I was really wasting my time. He does eventually, obviously has the extra pace, so he will eventually start to pull away, but I tried my best. But yeah, now as you can see, obviously there's nowhere to be seen. Now all I'm doing is just defending the rest of the pack behind us. Leclerc kicked me by and that, but he couldn't really do anything. But as I got there, I thought, right, yeah, we should still be alright. You know, I run wide, get on the gravel, and I thought, okay. And then I make another mistake here, get on the grass, big bite of oversteer, and I bring it around. Luckily, I've got a really smooth entry. I look behind. Yeah, quite a close finish, and P8.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
Not the best, I'd say, but yeah, I'd say it's a good result. To start off with the Williams, the track obviously doesn't favour the Williams, but as you can see, the Ferrari's dominating here. I'd say on this game, the Ferraris are probably the dominant car, as their aerodynamic package is good, and they got a decently strong power unit, not bad power unit, but yeah, as you can see, Vettel the winner of the race, and yeah, Bottas though, he ran a really good race, obviously starting 15th and making his way up through the order to 5th, but I think we done well starting 16th.